In today's episode, I am talking directly to your heart. I want to know what brings you joy. I want to know if you are clear on what joy means to you and how you bring more of it into your life. Because if you're not, then this, my friend, is the episode for you. Hello, and welcome to another great episode of Live Mindfully with Laurie Moore. I am so excited for this episode because I am going to bet early on here that this episode changes how you understand and view joy. And if it does, I want to hear from you. You can contact me either through Instagram, my page handle is @lifewithlaurie_, or through the Live Mindfully with Laurie Moore Facebook page. This week I am talking joy, what it is, how we get more of it, and most importantly, how we sustain our practices of joy long term. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm not going to tell you what the secret is just yet. First, I want us to do a little check-in to see where we are and how we're feeling in this moment. And then I promise I will share the secret with you. So whatever you are doing, take a little pause. Stop the movement in your body best you can. And then notice how your body feels in this moment. Can you notice any aches or pains? Do you notice any areas of discomfort or body parts that need a good stretch? In this moment, are you feeling neutral, content, frustrated? Whatever is coming up for you, just practice sitting in it. Don't wish it away, whether it's good or bad. Don't judge it. Try to stop your mind from having comments on it. Just let it exist within you through acceptance and acknowledgement. Right now for me, my back feels a little stiff. Overall, I feel okay. I wouldn't say I'm leaning one way or the other in terms of happiness or anger. I'm certainly glad to be here talking with you, but I would say in general, I feel pretty neutral. So now that we have checked in, let's take a big inhale followed by a big exhale. Good, and again, deep breath in. Feel the breath moving to the base of the lungs and filling all the way up to the collarbones, and then big exhale. Relax the shoulders, slowly pull the belly back toward the spine, and move the shoulder blades down the back of the body. Good. And one last time, deep breath in. And deep breath out. Good work. So you may be thinking that the purpose of this exercise is to move you from one state into another state. For example, I'm trying to encourage you to move from anger to neutral or neutral to happiness. That's not actually what that exercise does. The purpose of that exercise is to move you out of your mind and into your body, and then to move you from recognition of how you feel to acceptance that this is how you feel. And the reason is acceptance is a deeply peaceful state to be. And peace is a neutral state. It's where the nervous system is calm and where we feel far more focused on what is actually happening in our lives in this moment, ergo, mindfulness, and what positive steps we can take toward changing potential outcomes for the better. And let's face it, We live in the modern world where we are constantly facing challenges that need smart, effective, and positive action. I am yet to meet a person, myself included, who doesn't have at least 3 to 5 potential challenges that need solutions each and every day. And it can be an exhausting place to be, especially if we are seeking to solve our problems in a state of stress. And there is a reason I want you in this peaceful state. When we are feeling peaceful, we also find it much easier to seek out answers to questions that actually align with where we are and what we want. We're not as concerned when we're in this state about being judged or criticized, mainly because when we feel good within our own bodies and good within our own minds, we also feel safe. So my question to you is simple. What brings you joy? What are the things that come up in your mind when I say that word joy? And I really want you to think outside the box here. I don't want you to think about this in comparative terms. For example, I don't want you to think, well, I don't like being at work, therefore I feel joy when I am not there. Because we do have a tendency to do this. When asked what makes us happy, we think about what makes us unhappy. And if you hadn't considered this before, it's because it's something we do unconsciously. Because it's actually easier for us to identify what we don't like versus what we do. And the reason for this is simple. When we don't feel good, our bodies and our minds give us very quick feedback. Our stress indicators spike, and we don't want to feel this way. And the issue is a great deal of what we do in this world, especially as adults, adults who are paying rent or mortgage, and you have to cook all your own food, and you do the weekly shop, and maybe you have kids or grandkids. A lot of what we do is chore-based or security-based, meaning that it falls in the bottom 2 categories of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, either the physiological needs or the safety needs. And this takes up a lot of our time. So making time, and let's pretend together for a moment that this is possible to do, making time for things that bring us joy can sometimes be a challenge. So when we think about what brings us joy, I don't want you to simply think comparatively, and similarly, I don't want you to think in terms of recreationally. So I'm in joy when I'm paddleboarding, or I'm in a state of joy when I'm meditating or reading. That is recreational activities. I want you to think of times throughout your day, your ordinary day, when you are in moments of joy. And now that I've given you a couple of seconds to rake through the memory banks, if you thought, I don't know, Laurie, I don't have times for these games, I don't know what brings me joy. Let me explain what joy is, and perhaps this will help. So joy is considered by psychologists to be an intense, momentary experience of positive emotion, one that makes us smile, laugh, and want to jump up and down, which allegedly is one of the ways scientists measure an experience of joy. Joy also releases a hit of dopamine, which is our short-term happiness hormone. Joy is associated with feelings of intense, long-lasting happiness, but joy itself is not a long-term emotion. Joy is a direct emotional response to an event that is embedded in our life concerns, but is also tightly bound to the present moment. So what does all this mean? Basically, it means that joy is short-term. It is experienced in the present moment, and it is directly tied to our long-term happiness. But here's the secret that I wanted to tell you. You already experience a lot of joy in each and every day. But up to this point, you haven't been identifying it. And it's important to be able to identify it, because joy and gratitude are directly linked to our long-term happiness. So I want to give you an example. I have a friend, a very beautiful friend, whose whole being lights up when she starts talking about work. And what I have noticed is that she particularly exhibits joy when she specifically starts talking about her morning meetings. And when they do this, they do like a round table. And she has told me that by the time she has finished her part of the round table, everyone around her is smiling and really happy, and the mood has lifted. And I can just imagine her bouncing off to her office, feeling so good about herself and feeling so good about her colleagues. This is a moment of joy for her. But I'd almost bet my favorite hat that if I asked her what brings her joy, she would not have listed this. For me, I am in a state of joy when I learn something new and it makes sense to me. A lot of what I do during the day in terms of my work has the potential to bring me joy, so long as I limit distractions and plan my day with intention. When I don't do that, when my phone is dinging or when I try to squeeze too much into my day, I often find it difficult to move into moments of joy or find moments of joy because I'm in a really big state of stress. Anyone, anywhere asking me about the topic of mindfulness brings me joy. When someone DMs me to tell me how the podcast has positively impacted their life, I definitely want to start jumping up and down. Ergo, indication of joy. I feel joy when I pick my kids up from school. I love that moment. And secretly, I also feel a little pocket of joy and relief when I drop them off. I feel joy when the shopping is done and I remembered everything I needed. I'm just so happy when that happens. And I feel a small amount of joy when I complete items from my capture list. Now, at this point, you may start to notice a pattern here. Joy is tied to achieving something. Like I said above, joy is a direct emotional response to an event that is embedded in our life concerns, but is also tightly bound to the present moment. Joy is short term. We can't live in a world where we are always achieving so that we can stay in this state of joy. But here's the thing, we don't want or need to. Working toward this state as a constant will lead to burnout. But there's another way we feel joy, and it's through things. So Ingrid Fattel Lee, who wrote Joyful, the Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness, discovered a theme in the things that bring us joy, all of us joy. And you can watch her TED Talk on all of these things that create universal joy, if you like. The link is in the show notes. But the important takeaway here is that things can also bring us joy. So maybe you have a favorite suit and wearing it always puts you in a state of joy. Or seeing the color yellow, which is the universal color of joy, brings you joy. Maybe your color of joy is royal blue or purple or white. It doesn't matter. But knowing what things spark joy, and now I'm starting to sound like Marie Kondo, is really important. And understanding what achievements spark joy throughout your day is also really important. And we can only do this if we are living with mindfulness, if we are practicing those things that I spoke about in the very first episode. So it's about catching these moments of joy when they exist and recognizing that you're in a state of joy. And remembering that for later so that you can bring little pockets of joy, more little pockets of joy into your life. It's about saying, oh, I feel joy right now. Doing this has brought me joy, or seeing this thing has brought me joy. And simply noticing the joy-inducing moments will help you to realize that there are actually many, many things happening throughout your ordinary, and perhaps until this moment, you've viewed it as a mundane day. Joy is not only in the big explosive moments in your life or while you're on holiday. Joy has the potential to show up several times throughout your day in ways that require very little work on your part. The only thing you are required to do is notice. So spend some time today and this week noticing when you feel joy. And maybe not every time you're going to want to jump up and down. Maybe you just smile. This morning when I was walking around my block, I looked up and saw these beautiful birds flying over me. And I smiled like a really just big, genuine, non-forced smile. And I thought, oh, look, that's something that brings me joy. And when you start to notice when you feel joy, and when you start to notice patterns of joy as they present themselves, then you can bring more awareness of this into each and every day. And in turn, you can purposefully and with intention feel more joy. Perhaps that morning coffee or cup of tea always sparks a feeling of joy within you. And if that is the case, savor that moment. Stand with that mug and feel the warmth of it in your hands or hold it against your chest. Notice the aroma, watch the steam. And don't let anyone step in and disrupt that moment. If being outside brings you a small pocket of joy, be really present. Don't step out of your office or cubicle and immediately look at your phone. Instead, notice everything around you. Allow the sun to fall on your face and take a really deep breath in. Ground down through your feet, lift up through your spine. Allow yourself to enjoy feeling good in this moment. When you achieve something, don't jump straight along to the next task. There's always going to be something else we can do. Instead, pause and stay in the feeling of joy for as long as you can, because it's fleeting. And if you don't become aware of when it exists within you, you'll walk through your entire life not really ever knowing what brought you joy. And when joy is a gateway to happiness, that thing that we're all chasing, it seems crazy to overlook something so important. I want to thank you for listening today. I hope you walk away from this episode with more clarity about what joy is and how you can bring more of it into your life. Hint, hint, it is simply by noticing that there is already so much of it here. I would love to hear from you if you have had some really big aha moments. Head over to Instagram, find me at lifewithlori_ and send me a DM, or head over to the Live Mindfully with Lori Moore Facebook page and you can DM me from there as well. I wish you a great week full of lots of yellow, or whatever your favorite color of joy is, and lots of aha moments tied to joy. Until next week, take good care of yourself.